Welcome to the third episode of the best films of 2020. So, in this video, I'll be looking at a very special movie. This is the movie I felt is some way the greatest feel good movies, even though it's not that feel good. Like if you watch the whole movie, you will understand. It's in some way a very exhilarating movie. It's like you feel it's in many ways it's better than other feel good movies in a strange way, yet it's not a feel good movie in if you take it from another point of view. So the movie I'm going to talk about is The Trial of Chicago 7, and you already know that it's a historical movie. It's an incident that happened in 1968. It's a trial of seven anti-war protesters who are arrested for rioting, and they are trialed for their activities, which the government, the right-wing government, thinks is against the establishment. So this movie is a courtroom drama, which gives you the vibes of 12 Angry Men and movies like that, To Kill a Mockingbird. So actually, I got the same vibes as 12 Angry Men when I watched this movie. Yeah, that's a quite exaggeration, because 12 Angry Men is actually one of the best movies ever. But while watching this movie, I got the vibe of 12 Angry Men, and it's very well made, and there are good flashbacks that take you to the real incidents that actually happened, and the characters really look like the real historical people. And the beauty about the movie is that it uses certain real historical footage to show that it's about a real thing that happened, and that actually makes you feel more for the characters. And this movie could win the Oscar for Best Picture this year. It could or could not. Maybe the Academy may think of another movie. Maybe they would give it to Nomadland or some other movie. But surely this movie is going to win the Oscar for the best screenplay. This movie is one of the best well-written movies. Like the writing is like in many ways special, and the one-liners don't feel like it's forced. It's just so beautiful, the way it's written and the way it's edited, how the story goes back and forth in time, and how the transition happens, and how it's presented. The editing is actually very good. So even if this movie doesn't win the Best Picture Oscar, this movie will definitely win it for the best screenplay. And another thing about this movie is the performances. The performances are so good. The acting, the actors will blow you away. It's so intense. It's natural. The acting is natural. It's not melodramatic, but it's so intense. And there's one performance that stands out. It's none other than Sacha Baron Cohen. You would have seen him in Borat, the subsequent movie, which is another movie which released in 2020, which I really liked. And Sacha Baron Cohen is just great in this movie. Like every dialogue he says is very to the point, and you just like him. That's the speciality of the way he performs that character. And I think he would win the Best Supporting Actor Oscar. That's just my guess, but coming to the movie, I would like to talk about a lot of politics behind this movie. So there's this statement in the movie that this is not a civil judgment, not a criminal judgment. It's a political judgment. So politics plays an important part in our lives. It even in a way destroys democracy. Politics in many ways destroys democracy, and in a way curtails our freedoms and equality. So I was reminded of a famous quote by Ambedkar, Dr. Ambedkar, the father of Indian Constitution. He said that mere political democracy is not enough. You need social democracy. That is, equality, liberty, and fraternity should be part of the way of life, our way of life. In our day-to-day life, we should practice equality. We should practice freedom. We should practice fraternity. Otherwise, there's no meaning in democracy. Just because your country goes for the votes every 4 years or 5 years, that doesn't mean that your country is democratic. Equality and freedom should be part of the society, the culture, and it should be the way of life. Otherwise, this democracy, even fascism, could exist within democracy, like it happened in this movie. So many people think that, oh, our country is a democratic country, that's enough. But there's something beyond that. Just because you have voting rights in your country, just because you have legislative democracy doesn't mean that your country is really democratic. So actually there's a lot to do with this, how society sees freedom, how society perceives people, and how the government uses its political powers, or its repressive state apparatus like the police, etc., to oppress its citizens. It can happen even within a democracy. It can happen even within the frame of a democratic setup. So just because there is voting doesn't mean that it's a democracy. And this movie actually shows it to you. It shows it to you without speaking anything. You understand it. That's the beauty of this movie. And this movie is actually a very, very important step in world politics. If you look at political philosophy, or you look at political cinema, this movie is a great step forward, and it would inspire future generations. And in a way, it's a landmark movie. And you would have heard that in the past few years there is a right-wing uprising throughout the world. Like even in I from India, I could feel it. Like there is fascism everywhere. There's fascism within democracy everywhere, even in India. And I believe that not just Americans, every Indian should watch this movie. This movie is so good. And when I, as an Indian, when I watched this movie, I felt like it's talking to me, like it's talking to every Indian. So you think of all those activists and journalists who are arrested, and all those bad things that are happening in our country because of fascism. And you get to see all those things. You really get to contemplate on all those things when you watch this movie. So do watch it. It's the third on my list for the best movies of 2020. Thank you.